want to put good food in. When I think about nutrition, I tend to stick to what I call a power athlete model. That's kind of like where I live. And there's three basic athletes that we try to train for. One is the weight loss athlete, so if you're trying to lose weight. The other is what I call an endurance athlete, which is somebody who wants to go long and do things like run marathons. You know what I mean? And then what we call like the power athlete. Okay, and the power athlete is probably what we all are, right? So we come in with weight training, we do resistance training, and that sort of thing. And so there's different goals for that, but basically, I subscribe to an idea that I refer to as earn your carbohydrates. Okay, so you need to have proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And carbohydrates are a really important macronutrient. Maybe the most important for growth, and that's a good thing because we want to grow lean muscle. We want to grow. Little kids need a lot of sugar so that they can grow up big, right? So we know there's good data that little kids who are deprived of sugar actually are stunted growth, right? It's not weight training that stunts their growth. It's too much sugar or too little sugar, okay? So one of the things that I like to think about is timing our carbohydrates around our workout in such a way that we can optimize growth. And by growth, I mean simultaneously growing muscle or leaning out if we're trying to lose weight, okay? So I like to subscribe to sort of the earn your carb model. The way carbohydrates cause growth, and I won't get too geeky and sciencey, okay? But they activate an insulin response, and insulin is a hormone in our body that allows us to put energy in the form of calories, right? So y'all look at the back of like whatever you ate for breakfast and it says like 120 calories. Everything has like 120 calories, right, per serving. So 120 calories, that's simply an energy metric, okay? And so insulin helps get those calories into cells so that they can grow. If you're sitting around, like we all are now, or like us desk jockeys we were just talking about, we sit at the desk all day, and you're stuffing your face full of carbohydrates, your body is selectively storing the energy as fat because you're not doing anything. Okay, so your body's fat and not your body's muscular system is what's called insulin sensitive. So the fat cells become insulin sensitive. They use the insulin to store the calories as fat because you're not doing anything. You're not optimizing your body. You don't need the energy for immediate use. However, after resistance training, after weightlifting or CrossFit or any kind of resistance training paradigm, your muscular system becomes uniquely insulin sensitive, and your fat cells, your fat system and other systems become insulin insensitive. So after weight training, what happens is insulin targets your muscular system to get energy. So we want to try and target our most of our carbohydrates around our workout. So regardless of whether you work out in the morning or the afternoon, what I try to tell people is if you can get between 80 or say 75 to 85% of your daily carbohydrate allotment within 2 hours after you work out, you're going to stay lean and you're going to grow muscular. And if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to lose weight as long as those carbohydrates are within a certain number of grams per day for your goal. So let me just say that again. After workout, your muscles become sensitive to storing energy, which allows them to recover and allows them to grow. Your fat cells become insensitive to insulin, which allows your body to utilize the burning of fat for energy and recovery. So we want to time our carbohydrates around our workout. So if any of you, John's probably going to talk about post-workout recovery, or maybe, I don't know, maybe he's not, but the Advocare post-workout recovery, if you look at the back, it has protein and carbohydrates. There's a reason for that, okay? So what I usually subscribe or prescribe for people who are trying to get lean and muscular is have a high-protein, high-carbohydrate meal within 30 minutes after their workout. So that's about 20 to 40 grams of protein, depending upon your body weight, and between 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrates after your workout. And then if you're on a power athlete or an endurance kind of model, you're trying to grow, you're trying to get stronger or run longer distances, not on a weight loss program, you should have another meal like that. So after workout, you want something like a protein shake, easily digestible, that sort of thing. But within 2 hours, you should have another real meal. A piece of chicken, a sweet potato, something like real carbs, real food, whole foods. John's going to talk a lot about whole foods in the Advocare Challenge. So that's the time window. That's what we call like the post-workout recovery window, where we can time our carbohydrates. If you can get 75 to 85% of your carbs in that window, then you're going to store most of your energy as protein resynthesis and muscle and not fat. If you don't do that, if you wake up and you have a bowl of Rice Krispies, and then after your workout you have nothing, and then before bed you have some donuts, all that's going to be stored as fat. So carbohydrates. So the thing about macronutrients is inside the body, those calories aren't the same as they are on the back of the box because you're not a box label, right? So our biological system is different than that box. So carbohydrates work differently under different sort of bodily states, having worked out, having not worked out, okay? So I like to say earn your carbs. What else do I want to say? So for weight loss, if you're interested in weight loss, I like to tell people to limit their carbohydrates to start trying to limit their carbohydrates to about 100 grams per day. Now that again depends upon your size, but 100 grams per day, if you can keep it under 100 grams per day and increase your protein and fat intake, you're going to lose weight. You're going to lean out. I always tell people not to look at the scale, but to look at their performance and to look at their reflection in the mirror. You're going to start seeing like whatever you want to see, your abs or your guns or your calves, Chad, that sort of thing, right? So for weight loss, you want to keep those carbohydrates down. You want to increase your protein and your fat. But you don't want to just start eating fat like crazy, right? So you don't want to just start eating like trans fat or that sort of thing. What I would say is try and increase your good fat. So this would be things like olive oil, and my personal favorite is coconut oil. Coconut oil is loaded with what's called medium-chain triglycerides, which are available for immediate use as energy. They're not actually stored as fat the way other triglycerides or cholesterol or fats are stored. So they bypass most of the systems that store fat as fat and get utilized immediately for energy. So coconut oil, whatever, right? If you're a power athlete or you're an endurance athlete, if you're an endurance athlete, you need more carbohydrates because you're going for long distances, right? So you're doing those long metcons, you're doing the workout, and then you're going and running like Keith used to come and like do a workout and then go run a mile or 2 miles, and you think, oh my goodness, what are you doing, right? So you need to fuel yourself, and so in that case, your allotment of carbohydrates is going to increase, and it's partly on you as the athlete to know how you feel. You still want to do that 30-minute and 2-hour post-workout window, but now you might need to do another carbohydrate meal later at night during dinner, depending upon when you all train, or even before bed. The idea that you can't take carbohydrates before bed is dead scientifically. It turns out that if you load up on carbohydrates before bed, it fills your glycogen stores, it fills your muscle glycogen, liver glycogen, so the next day you're ready to roll. Now, if you're trying to make weight, that's probably not a good idea, right? But if you're trying to just be an everyday, come in the gym and not feel sluggish, you can load up on some carbohydrates the night before, as long as you're not trying to lose weight. If you're trying to lose weight, this is going to be counter-effective to your weight loss program because those carbohydrates are going to be utilized as storing fat, okay? So if you're an endurance athlete, increase some of those carbohydrates near the end of the day. If you're a power athlete, if you're like Christian or Jess and Gabby, competitive CrossFitters where you're doing 4 or 5 workouts a day, lots of degrees of freedom in when you can eat anything, okay? I still want to see a good protein to carb meal after your workout, about 20 grams of each or 40 grams of carbohydrates, and I want to see a lot of carbohydrates before you go to bed. And by a lot of carbohydrates, I don't mean go to Krispy Kreme or go out for frozen yogurt. I mean, you can do that, that's great. But what I'd like to see is something like sweet potatoes, something like yams, something like even roasted potatoes. White rice, if it comes down to it, is okay. I prefer to stay away from all grains. And on this Advocare challenge and sort of 30-day primal challenge or whatever we're doing here, nutrition challenge, I would say try and stay away from any kind of processed carbohydrates. Breads, pastas. I know it's hard. It's only 30 days, right? Stay away from those sorts of things. Stay away from soft drinks, alcoholic beverages. 30 days. Do anything for 30 days, right? I think. Maybe not anything, but you could not drink and eat bread for 30 days. So let's try to do that, right? And so keep your carbohydrates clean. That means that you might have to eat more, and you're going to be like, really, do I have to eat another sweet potato with peanut butter on it? Yes, you have to. Sorry. You know what I mean? You have to get the grams of carbs that you need to refuel. It's easier to eat something like a loaf of white bread or peanut butter and jelly on white bread or a bowl of white rice or pasta, but it's not optimal because it has proteins in it that are going to cause inflammation like gluten, okay? We want to eliminate gluten from our diet as much as we can. If you did nothing else on this challenge but eliminate gluten from your diet, you'd see performance increases. You'd see waking up in the morning not feeling achy and creaky and joints and all that stuff or hurting, okay? So that's another thing I want to talk about. The other main things I want to talk about are pre-workout. I don't know what y'all do for pre-workout. I think Spark is a good pre-workout. I would say stay away from all the stuff you can buy at like GNC or Vitamin Supplement Warehouse or whatever. They're all basically just sugar and caffeine, okay? So pre-workout, you actually don't need to eat. You don't need to eat pre-workout. If you eat that carbohydrate the night before, and you go to the office, guess what? You don't burn a lot of energy at the office. Like, this is not an endurance activity, okay? So then you come into the gym, your glycogen stores are filled. You're ready to kick it, okay? So don't worry about how I got a carb load before that big CrossFit workout. Not necessary. If you're in a weight loss category, it might even be better for you to work out fasted. So having not eaten for an hour or 2 hours, because it activates a system in our body called ketogenesis, which causes us to burn fat a little bit faster for fuel during the workout. If you're a power athlete or an endurance athlete and you feel like you need something to push that extra little bit, little caffeine from Spark, or my personal favorite is 2 cups of black coffee, a scoop of whey protein, and 2 to 4 tablespoons of coconut oil blended up. It makes like a little latte. You can put some cinnamon on the top and like put it in the shape of a heart if you want. Chug one of those back, and you're gonna be flying high, because the caffeine is going to increase cortisol, so you're going to be amped up. MCTs from the medium chain triglycerides from coconut oil. It's going to go right to your energy systems. You're going to feel really good. So you drink one of those about 15, 30 minutes before your workout. As long as coffee doesn't give you any kind of gastrointestinal problems, you're going to be awesome, right? So like, you don't want to be in the bottom of the squat and have some issues, okay? But I find that's my personal favorite is what I call my super, or what's sometimes called like bulletproof coffee, but I just call it my fat coffee, okay? Intra-workout, you guys should be drinking lots of water. It should be like the only thing that you drink, aside from maybe a couple of supplements like Spark. And then John's going to tell you not to drink coffee. That seems like blasphemy to me, okay? But because it is bad for you. It has some bad stuff in it. We want to cleanse from that. But if you're not going to go on that full cleanse thing, coffee or tea, just don't add all the junk, right? And by junk, I mean sugar. I also mean artificial sweeteners. Here's the thing with artificial sweeteners. They have 0 calories, but they still cause an insulin spike. So if you take your coffee with milk and an artificial sweetener, or some kind of even healthy carbohydrate or protein, that insulin spike is going to cause those macronutrients to be stored as fat, unless you do all that around your workout. Okay? So I'm not all against artificial sweeteners. I'm not that guy who thinks they cause cancer and everything, but they do cause an insulin spike in our body because they trick our brain, and so it'd be best just to stay away from those kinds of things. So intra-workout, and then if you're like a power athlete or an endurance athlete, some amino acids. You can take some, what's the amino acid called? Catalyst is a good one. And then there's some good ones that you can just dissolve in your water, but they're usually artificially sweetened, so they're not my favorite. I like Catalyst, although right now I don't have it. Post-workout, I already talked about it. Post-workout, I think there's 2 main periods of time in which you need to refuel your body. Within 30 minutes, you have to get protein and carbohydrates into your system. I say have to. It's not like your leg is going to fall off if you don't, right? But if you want to optimize the gains that you get in the gym, let's fuel it, right? So you work out hard. You just did like muscle up practice, handstands. You just did a crazy wad with strict pull-ups. You do a strength wad. Let's get some protein. Let's get some carbohydrates in your system within 30 minutes. Drink it on the drive home. Get home, make dinner, make sure it's a lean protein with some good carbohydrates. So a piece of chicken, a steak, a sweet potato, maybe some other vegetables like broccoli, spinach, something whole. Don't go get fried chicken and French fries, Calvin. But like that's fine once in a while. Like we want to have some cheat meals because it's fun. But that's not optimal for what we're trying to do. It's a 30-day challenge. Might as well go ham on it and just go all in, right? And then what I would say is 30 days, tell me how you feel after 30 days. And if you don't feel better, then go back to eating the crap that you were eating, right? And if you're not stronger and faster and leaner and people aren't saying that you look better, then we did it wrong. But I would bet, I don't have my wallet on me, but there's no money in there, but I'd bet something that you're going to feel better after 30 days, okay? Let me see what else I have here. Oh, so how many of you do a bedtime snack? Bedtime, like, meal, snack? Really?
I do.
Awesome. What do you do?
Peanut butter and something.
Awesome. Boom. So if you're in a weight loss program, like you want to lose weight, you're here to lose weight and lean up, cut the bedtime snack, keep your carbohydrates, closer to dinner. If you're a power athlete or an endurance athlete, you might want